Hey guys, welcome back to Berry Mount's channel. Today we're going to talk about flying while you are overweight. Alright, so I thought this was an interesting topic to talk about right now because it is the holiday season. We are all probably doing some sort of traveling, and for some people, especially people who are overweight, this can cause some anxiety. So I want to share some experiences with you and give you some tips and tricks if you are in that situation where you're feeling a little bit anxious about traveling. I'd say for me personally, the biggest part of traveling while being overweight is definitely flying. Flying is just, to me personally, not the most fun thing in the world anyway, but throw on top of it being overweight and it just adds a whole nother element because you're just really anxious about certain things. The number one thing for me was always, am I gonna fit into the seat? I used to be so anxious to fly because I was so worried I was not going to fit into an airplane seat, to the point where I would literally do research on the company's website and see like the dimensions of the seat, and then I'd come home and I would measure chairs and test them out to see if I'd fit. Like, it caused me severe anxiety. And to be honest, it was probably very unnecessary because there are certain things you can do, I feel like, to prepare you, and I feel like I was just making it harder on myself. Hopefully you will be next to people on an airplane that are decent human beings, because there have been a couple of situations that I've been in where, you know, I was almost 400 pounds and I was a big girl and it was really uncomfortable being on an airplane. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I get it, you know, you don't want to be squished next to your neighbors, but I do think that there's a way a human being can handle that situation a little bit better. And I've definitely been in situations where the person did not handle it very well, and it was very embarrassing. And unfortunately, as overweight individuals, that's something that we just, you know, unfortunately have to deal with society, is that sometimes people are just rude and not compassionate. But I don't think that you should use this to scare you from not traveling, because this is a beautiful time of the year. This is the time to be with your friends and family. Do not let this hold you back, because it held me back and I wish it didn't. You know, you might be a little uncomfortable, you might be a little stressed, but it's so quick and you're gonna get through it. There are certain things that you can do to prepare though. For example, when you're picking your seat, you can pick seats that hopefully have some more room. So those like comfort seats or even like first class, a lot of times have more room. And so if you are able to do that, I would recommend finding a seat like that. Now, obviously try your best not to be in the middle seat, because that would be the worst. But for me personally, I like being in the aisle because I feel like I can kind of spread away from my like neighbor when people aren't walking through the aisle, and that just kind of gave me more comfort that I wasn't bugging them. So it depends on where you like to sit on an airplane, but that always seemed to help me. I also used to be really scared to ask for a seatbelt extender for some reason. Like, it would like terrify me to the point where I just would not buckle, and I would not recommend that. So definitely, if you need a seatbelt extender, talk to the flight attendant like right when you get on the plane. They're not going to embarrass you. They're not going to just sit there and yell, you know, hey, we need a seatbelt extender right here. Like, they're not going to do that. They're going to be really quiet about it and just make sure you have what you need. So don't be like me. Don't just, you know, suffer through it and be uncomfortable. Do your best to speak up. Hopefully you're not next to somebody who is a complete jerk about the situation, but unfortunately we can't control other people. So all you can do is be the bigger person and just try to, you know, not let it get to you. You know, there again has been a time where I was sitting next to somebody and he made a big deal about it and had to move to a different seat. And, you know, it was really painful. And I wish that we lived in a society where people knew how to communicate things in a better way without completely just not caring about another human being, but that's for another day. But I will say, you know, don't let this be the cause of your anxiety. It is unfortunately something that we have to deal with because airplanes are already so tiny, and then, you know, being a little bit more overweight can cause there to be that greater anxiety there. But do not let this stop you from living. I know it is so hard because it's so stressful, like wondering if you're gonna fit, because the last thing you want is to be kicked off an airplane because you can't fit into a seat. Which, you know, I've never seen that happen, but it's a fear I think that we all have. Some people decide to even purchase an additional seat, and that helps with their anxiety because then they know they have, you know, those 2 seats to really spread out and not feel like they're, you know, getting into their neighbor's space. So do what is best for you, but educate yourself, because I do think it's important to kind of know what to expect, but don't obsess about it like I did, because that's just going to cause you anxiety, and then it's going to just take away the joy of traveling. I feel like all overweight individuals have some sort of story about, you know, maybe the way they were treated or things like that. And I feel like a lot of it happens on things like this, like flying. And I think that's why it causes us so much anxiety. But again, don't let this be the reason you don't live your life. Go out there, see your friends and family, have an awesome holiday season. And I will tell you, especially if you are early on in your journey for bariatric surgery, the best feeling in the world is when you can sit in that airplane seat for the first time and not feel anxiety on whether or not you're gonna be able to buckle the seatbelt. So if you are still struggling with feeling like you can't fit, just hang in there, because I promise you, as you get further on your journey, you're gonna feel so much better. And you know what? You might always have some sort of anxiety about fitting into chairs. Like, there are times I still struggle with it. And you know, I'm not almost 400 pounds anymore, but I still have this anxiety of, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna break the chair? And it's just, you know, I think that's something that some of us are always gonna deal with, but overall it gets better and it does get easier. So hang in there. I know it's so hard, but don't let this ruin this time of year for you, because flying does not have to be as painful as it seems. And find a good flight attendant. Like I said, do your research on the website, but don't obsess about it. Take a deep breath and go enjoy that flight. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so if you would, leave me a comment down below. I'll see you guys next time.